Welcome to 30 What Now? This is Mel.
And this is Irian.
And we're two millennials in our 30s who are faking it through life.
On this podcast, we'll explore what it means to be a 30-year-old and try to make sense of it all along the way.
We're also new to this whole podcast thing, so if you're keen to see our journey, listen away.
Shall we?
Hello everyone, my name is Mel and Arian's not here today again because he has a life. I feel like the intro should have that at some point, but today I've got my very dear friends Sonia and Vik. Do you guys want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello, my name is Sonia and I am 27 years old.
She's not that old yet.
Getting there.
So hi everyone, I'm Vicky. So I am 28 and of course Sonia is my partner.
How did we meet?
Oh.
You guys can tell the story from your end.
Well, how do I even start this? We met haphazardly.
Haphazardly?
No, scratch that.
So basically, we were going. So Sonia, she had a music video from a friend she wanted to film with. So what happened was that we were renting a car. So the friend requested us for help because she was producing the entire music video by herself. There's a lot of money that she has to spend, and one of the things that she wanted our help was because we were renting a car to bring a couple of actors with us to the spot that they were renting out, which is basically this fancy Airbnb.
In the middle of
a lake.
4 hours away from the city.
4 hours away from Melbourne CBD.
Yeah.
And so we were meeting these two actors early in the morning so that we were bringing them to that place. And we both were like curious how these how these people gonna react. And
these two strangers that we are picking up at like 6 a.m.
Yeah. And are they gonna be like fun to hang out with? And
gonna be
come on, it's like a 4-hour drive, you know, and it's gonna be like awkward.
Randoms. We could have been there to kill you.
Exactly.
So that was like the nervous energy that we had the night before. Like, are we okay to do that and all the stuff?
What are they gonna be like?
Yeah, exactly. And then the next morning came, and then that's when we realized, oh, Mel, she has Malaysian root.
Yes, the moment she talked, I was like, girl, you're Malaysian.
You're one of us.
Yeah.
So clearly I was one of the actors.
Yes.
So she was one of the actors. And then we had another actor called Danny.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Danny.
Yeah,
You better be listening to
We
this.
have to share this to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a Spanish
Spanish dude with amazing curly hair.
Yeah.
And he was just so fun to hang out with. He's really just like friendly. He was able to break the ice so easily.
He's on the Salvos ad.
Yes, I saw
He did.
that.
He's a model.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
We know someone who's a model. But he was like tan enough that it's like he could be Malaysian. He could be
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's how we met. And then we proceeded to have such a great time throughout the drive. And honestly, it didn't even feel like 4 hours.
Because we had to go home. No.
Oh,
So
yes.
it was a 4 hours to the place to film, and then it's a 4 hours back, and we finished, I think, around 9 p.m. So by the time we got back to the city, it was like 1.
Yes.
So I think it wouldn't have felt like a 4-hour trip if we didn't have to go and come back on the same day, you know?
That's true. That's fair. Yes.
Yeah.
So we met on a music video, like very random. Also, the music video is on YouTube. For people, if you want to know the link, can you private message me and I'll send you the link to the music video. I don't know if I have permission to like share out loud, so just send me a request and I'll send it over. But yeah, that's how we met, and I think it was really nice because I think as an adult, it's so hard to just like randomly meet people and then have it turn to friends. I even know that when I try to go to like different workout classes or Pilates classes, you know, like you try to make friends with people and they don't really want to make friends with you. They just want to go in, do their stuff and head out.
Yeah.
So as an adult, I always find it really nice when you happen to stumble across a friendship and it sticks.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
I feel you 100%. I was really glad that I met you.
Me too. I'm glad we were in the same car because
Yes.
the other car that we're in, people a bit younger.
Yes.
And they were also actors, and it was a little harder to talk to them as young actors.
Oh.
It was.
Fair.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we're old,
Yeah.
you know?
It was.
Okay. But anyway, that's how we met. So if any one of you want to make new friends, try to find a music video and find friends.
Just go for it.
Just
Don't
go
think too
for
much.
it.
Just go
Yeah.
for it. You never know who you might meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we will jump into what we're going to discuss. We're going to talk about long distance relationships, which is like not a topic that I know. I think I've done a long distance with an ex where I was like away for just 6 months, but that's nothing. And also we broke up, so it clearly didn't work for me. But Vik, Sonia, tell us a little bit more about your relationship. How long you've been together? The how, what, and stuff.
Okay. So we were actually primary school friends. We were primary school friends, and we kind of like lost touch for a bit, and then we got back in touch in like Form 3, high school.
Form 3 is like year 9?
Year 9,
Year
10,
9.
I think.
Year 10? Yeah.
And then we like got back in touch, and we just stayed as good friends, best friends. And then in 2019, we were like,
Hello.
let's just try this thing called love and relationship.
Wait, who did what? Who started it?
He did it. He did everything.
Yeah. So the way that I proposed,
Oh,
Yeah, you could
Or-
call it that.
Ooh.
I would
proposed
call it that,
a
I guess.
proposal, like some sort of like
Confession.
confession. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's a better word. Yeah, yeah.
in Malaysia, like we do confessions. Like
Yes,
in
yes.
It's like if you're Chinese, like 告白, like you're like I confess.
profess.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
It's not a thing here.
Yeah.
In Australia. No.
So yeah, because here it means like if you propose, it's more of like
It's an
getting the
official
man in.
thing.
It's a ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So confession. So the confession went like this. I would like to spend my rest of my life with you, and it's
On
completely
Skype.
yeah, it's
This was on
completely
Skype.
it's completely up to you if you want to be with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah. It was just like a random day because we Skype almost every other week to like catch up. And then I was like, this is just any other Skype. And this, my bestie basically, right? And then
Oh
he comes
my
out and he's like, I just have to tell you this, like, I really love you and I would like to spend the rest of my life with you. And I was like, I love you too, dude. Like as friends, we all like, yeah, I love you too, dude. And then he goes like,
No.
no, I mean like, I love you. I was like, yeah, I love you too. And he's like, no, I love you. And I was like, oh, this sounds different.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. And then he goes on, like, spend the rest of my life, big words. I'm like, I stopped listening to you already.
So you weren't even expecting it.
I was not. No, I was not. It was very, very sudden. Yeah. But I think because we have such a like long friendship, it was kind of like, okay, interesting. Never thought of this. And I was like, okay, let's give it a go. And then we met in 2020 just for like 7 days. And then
Yeah.
COVID struck.
Yeah.
And we were back in our own homes. And we've been together since.
Wow. But that actually is you. Actually, no. You literally proposed.
Yeah.
Like I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
legit.
That is like similar to. Wow.
Yeah.
And I think it's also really interesting, right? Like you don't get a lot of people who are like friends for like people who say I love you before the relationship. It's not a common thing.
Yeah, it's like something you get to know the person, I guess, and then
Yeah.
eventually you say it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I've known her like quite some time.
Yeah.
That's
So
fair.
that's why it's easier for me to like.
The dynamic is slightly different as well.
When did you
Yeah.
started loving her?
Yes, tell
When did
me.
you first fell in love?
I want to be reminded.
like you're like I
Yes.
know.
Tell me.
I think it's more of like a realization that I've been spending a lot of time with this person, because we almost call every other day.
That's true. That's a green flag already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't know that he was in love with you.
No, I mean, I do that with all my friends. So like, this is just like another friend I do it with, and he does it to me
Do you
too.
feel special?
No, I'm the only guy friend she was doing it to.
Okay, come on. Come
Like,
on.
you should feel special.
I did feel special. But yeah, so I think more of like reflection on my part. More like during that period, I was being more self-reflective, being self-aware. Then that's when I realized what I wanted, and it's more of like the realization of what love actually means. It's more of like a thing that you don't stumble upon it. It's more of like it's it's something that you practice, meaning to say it grows over time and you have to put in effort. And so what I meant that day is that I would like to put the effort to keep falling in love, I would say, or like
Oh
grow,
God.
grow. Yeah.
You got me giggling.
Sonia is totally blushing right now. She's like, But that's true. Like, it's interesting. Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah, because like all my life, probably it was, I mean, of course, like watching like movies and all, it's like, it happens like in an instant, right?
Like love at first sight.
Yeah, but that is more of like the feelings you get because of we being humans, like, or seeing someone we are attracted to. But in actual fact, love is more of like respect. It's like slow burning, like enduring rather than instantaneous.
I agree.
So therefore, you come across a person that you are willing to put that effort in. So I think you should jump into that.
I feel like the vows have already been written.
Yeah. I've been grooming him. He's been practicing.
yeah.
Have you just like slowly like released a couple of words every time?
Yes. You know, like ask leading questions like, why do you
Subliminal
love
messages.
me? What is it about me?
What is leading about love? Oh, it's enduring about love.
Yes.
And then how did you guys navigate it what's your long distance relationship history?
So we did for the first few years we did London to Melbourne, and then was it 2021, 2022?
Yeah, 2021, end of 2021.
End of 2021, it was KL to Melbourne. So obviously the time difference was a big thing. Apart from that, we try to meet up as often as we can, but also at the time we were like students, and then I was still a student until recently. So we meet up 1 year once, at least 1 year once, sometimes 2 years, twice in a year. And what else do we do? We talk every day.
But during the we being students, we rarely met up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I think the key was, of course, I think she's the one who actually established this, which is to communicate. So which for us to communicate clearly about our feelings and all those stuff. I think that's what made us like keep going.
Yeah, it helped. I think because I really emphasized, because we don't have the other luxuries that most couples have of like meeting face to face. Like I want to understand your energy until you actually tell me. So I was like, we have to talk every day, because if your energy changes or it shifts or something has happened, like I need to know. So the only way I'll know is if you tell me. And so it's like, that's something we need to do every day. Yeah.
So have you heard when people used to say, oh, long distance relationship doesn't work out?
Oh yeah, I've heard that so many times.
Yeah, like what's your response to them normally?
I feel like to each their own, to be honest, because we have quite a number of friends who also do like long distance relationships, and they've been doing it longer than us. Some of them.
Wait, how many years have you done it actually?
We've done it for this June will be 6 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, and some of our other friends have done it even longer, and some of them it doesn't work out. So it really just comes down to like the individuals and like what's
Again, comes back to the effort. So because love is not about like, it's more of communication, trust. The thing that you build over time.
Yeah. What's the hardest part then? What's the hardest part of being in your long distance? And regardless if it's between London to Melbourne, obviously I think the time difference would have been a lot harder. And then between KL and Melbourne, at least like when you travel, it's only 8 hours travel. I actually don't know how long it takes from here to the UK. Probably crazy. Something crazy like what, 16, 18 hours?
Yeah, 18 plus.
Yeah, 18 plus. Yeah.
So like regardless of like wherever, what did you find the most challenging about your long distance relationship?
For me, initially, I had a lot of FOMO. Like I was missing out so much, like him like meeting his friends, him going out and hanging out with his friends. Like I missed all of that, and like I really wanted to be a part of like everything that he did, and like I want to know the world of friends, you know, like assignments and all that kind of stuff. And all I know, like all the late nights and everything, like how they work, you know, what they do, like all the drama, uni drama. But all I could do was just like listen from his part, which is honestly like you would only get a certain amount. I don't get the whole picture, but if I'm there with him, like experiencing it, I would get the whole picture, right?
Yeah.
So I was having like big FOMO, and then like when he would be back in Malaysia and with all our friends as well, and my friends were really great. They would send me videos and be like, "We miss you," you know, like it kind of helped, but at the same time, I'm like, I want to be there so badly.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that was the part, like missing out on a lot of
Like the little things.
Little
it
things,
seems.
yeah.
Not like big, let's go out on like
Exactly.
a trip or somewhere.
yeah,
like
and
that.
we'd miss like Christmas, New Year, birthdays. Yeah.
I think just being around, like
Mm-mm.
because you learn a lot about a person when you're just like together and
Existing.
existing.
You know, like, what do you think three practices that you guys do in your current relationship that you think that would benefit those who aren't, like, to those who are in long distance and non-long distance relationship, like general relationship?
I think first thing is like communication is like the
Key.
like just the absolute key, like non-negotiable. And I think it depends on like different people and the way they communicate as well. You know, if some people are more like less
Passive?
confrontational,
Oh, yeah.
you know, for example, like Vicky's not as confrontational as I am.
Same.
Yes.
Sorry, I mean, I'm the confrontational.
Right?
Sorry.
No, me too. I feel you. I'm very confrontational, and I like if you have a problem, like, no, tell me now. If you want to say something, just say it out now. Like, he's like, no, I want to think about it.
Yeah. Don't you hate it?
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Like, just get it
But-
out. Like, I'm not gonna take it seriously. Just get it out.
Or you know when people used to say, you can't go to sleep without resolving
Oh,
a fight.
yes.
But
yeah, both
does-
of you. Yes.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't
I completely agree. It's just that give me like 10 minutes to think about it.
but it doesn't take 10 minutes. You guys take longer.
Sometimes it takes 20, 30 minutes. Yeah. Sometimes, like, even
Longer.
the 10 minutes, I
No,
only get
it-
like 10%. I'm like, no, I know there's more. Like, all you need to do is just feel and just get it out. He's like, no, I don't want to say like the wrong things because I don't mean it. I'm like, I know you don't mean it. Just get it out. Just get it out.
And doesn't it make you angrier? Like the longer he takes,
so angry.
the angrier you get. Sorry, that's me.
So angry. I
Yeah,
get so sorry.
But I've improved. I've improved.
So what's the compromise then? If you've improved, is it just like you take a shorter time, or you do get it out? Like what's the compromise on your end if she needs it, or what's the compromise on your end if he needs time?
I think we've both compromised a bit because we actually had like a disagreement on this itself. Like, because I was like, no, you need to tell me because if you don't tell me, I can't trust what
Plan.
you're actually feeling.
Yeah.
You know, because the more time you take, the more I'm going to feel like, oh, he's just thinking about how to like hide his feelings or mask it properly. You know, like, no, just say it the moment you feel it. That feels more real and truthful, you know? And so I told him that and he was like, oh, okay, no, I just need to like, you know, I'm not like as tuned with expressing emotions, I guess.
Yeah.
Would you agree? Yeah. So the compromise we came to was that, okay, you need to tell me an exact time that you know, and we came to an agreement like, okay, I can deal with 20 minutes because I also realized like it gives me anxiety.
Yes,
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because like the more you don't tell, the more my mind speculates. So that was also like part of my problem, and I was kind of like, you know, putting it on him, like soothe me immediately.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god,
Yeah.
I feel this so much. I relate so hard right now.
right.
Yeah.
So we compromised. I was like, okay, I can try to manage my anxiety for how long do you need? You know, like 30 minutes a day. If it's a day, I'm like, okay, I will.
But
we
just
will do
know that
something.
I could be a little bit more
Yeah,
upset.
I might be a bit more antsy, you know,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
be
yeah.
like a bit more moody.
But the longer duration will be like within 1 week we will solve that issue, because we can
Yeah.
tell our energy is off. It's like moment the energy is off, we'll be like, oh, we still haven't resolved
Yeah.
something is still
yeah.
lingering.
Yes.
Like one example that I can think of is like how we had a misunderstanding on how I felt about a certain thing. I can't remember exactly which one was it. So I think it was like before I came, there was one day we were misunderstanding.
This time
yeah,
or
this
last
time.
year?
No, it's like a few weeks back when I was on board. Something to do with my ego.
Oh, guys, it's always something to do with you guys.
No, but like I mean, but ego is a thing. Sorry, I think people fight because of general ego, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course, 100%. Yeah, that's a whole other compromise you have to do as well. I think. Yeah.
Oh, I think you can talk about the therapy thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Second point, we go to therapy
No,
individually and to
Ah.
yeah.
I've been to therapy. Do you know this? Have I
Yes.
told you? Yes.
Yes. Have you found it to be quite impactful?
So we just jumped from communication to therapy. I'm not sure how I'm
Sorry.
gonna link it. No. It's like I'm telling myself I'm not sure how to link it, and in case it doesn't link, I'll use this clip.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, so the way that I was thinking, how we're going to go about communication is that, so communication is not just about talking, it's about talking about what you think. Meaning to say, so how is your thinking is actually working? Like, for example, we always just think, but we're not thinking about what we think. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So
philosophical.
So meaning to say, for example, the one that we were talking about just now is like, why am I not answering you immediately? So because of the way that I think is not similar to yours.
The way I think.
Yeah. So and for you, for her, it creates anxiety. So we actually have to talk about how we each other think about certain things.
Interesting. Because
So-
I think Oh, sorry. You go.
So that then you can actually break down how can we actually come up with solutions to handle each other's thinking.
Each other's like differences of the way we think.
Yeah.
Because it's basic. How we think is how we function.
Because the first
Yeah.
level of misagreement comes, the disagreement comes where we immediately just act on our thinking. But then we have to take a step back and talk about like, why did we come to that conclusion in the first place? Yeah.
And I think to like tie it back to like communication, one of the ways we do it is that we both journal. So especially during a fight, like or any disagreements or whatever, even if we're like especially when we're long distance and we have fights, I'll be like, all right, tomorrow morning he will tell me like, okay, I need to journal about this because I can't put my thoughts into words. I can't exactly tell you how I feel. It's not coming out right. I'm like, okay, when you journal tomorrow, send me a picture of the page.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I've realized that a lot of the things that he says is like I only get like 50% of it because I need something more. And so when I read his journal, I get the fuller picture.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, when I read your journal, I understand what it is that sometimes you don't tell. Like something's missing. I get that piece in the journal. So yeah. And I think, and so he reads my journal as well. And obviously like not all, like all
like
the
this
time.
some stuff that's
Specific-
private.
Yeah. So we will send each other the pictures, and then like he will then realize like, oh, this is how you felt about that. Like you didn't say that, and I won't realize that I didn't tell him that. You know, like but I thought you knew. Like I was pissed, and he was like, yeah, I knew you were pissed about this. I didn't know about that, and like that's connected to this. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, sometimes even though if she have said it, it didn't register in my head
Yeah,
because it was not
yeah.
important for me.
Yeah.
And like
And you probably didn't see how she pieced together things.
Exactly.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah.
that's what I mean by thinking about thinking. So like you are actually taking a step back, why this form of thought actually formed in the first place.
That's really interesting because I think a lot of time I communicate my feelings
Yeah.
only. And I think
Oh.
sometimes that leads to more fights,
Yeah.
I see.
right? Because then you're like, oh, if you're feeling this way, like for example, I was just put it on myself, like if my partner's feeling bad about something, then I'm like, shit, I am in the wrong. Like, you know what, you immediately go like,
Oh.
how, like, is it my fault? Do I need to do anything?
Okay.
So I feel like I've never really put in attention onto how you think.
Yeah.
Right. Have you asked like your partner like, is this something to do with me? Is it something I did?
I have,
or-
but I never trust them when they say no.
Ah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
yes.
for me, because I'm like similar to you and Vik,
Not
right?
satisfied with one answer.
No,
Yes.
no, but you're just like, are you sure? Because
Yeah.
then they're like, oh, it doesn't feel like that's the full picture.
Yes.
And I think sometimes when you're the more quiet one, it takes a little bit more prodding
Oh,
to
for
push
sure,
out.
for sure.
And then, so you always have to prod.
Yes.
and it makes it harder.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
But if you change your mindset on how does it think, right, and then your questions will be a bit more different when you ask. So you'll be still prodding, but then you'll understand how his brain works. Like for example.
Yeah, so the questions, I think, like, there will be a time, like, I think initially I would be very, like, assigning blame kind of mode. I'd be like, oh, you did this, like, I'm hurt that you said this, like, why didn't you say this? And then he's usually like, that one line always, like, resets me a little bit. He's like, so you expect me to react like you? I'm like, oh, true. That's true. Okay, let me take a step back.
I don't know if that. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know if that. Okay. Okay, interesting. All right.
Because then after that, it gets, at least it helps me, because then I get into like, okay, so how do you see this situation? What is it about this? Like, who do you think is here to blame? He's like, I don't think anyone's to blame. I think this is like a situation thing. It's a miscommunication or something. And I was like, okay, what do you think was miscommunicated? What do you think I meant? What did you mean? So those questions become like that. Yeah. And then he tells, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, actually, that's right. Because I always get into that. I think when there's a fight, I'm always like, who's to blame here? Like, who's in the wrong here?
Yes.
And I don't know why. I don't know if you have a thing, like, whether there's a reason why you need to attribute blame.
That is actually because our brains wants to tell a very simple story.
Oh.
So it immediately assigns blame very fast. That's the first thought comes to you. And that's normal. That's perfectly normal. Because for me, immediately I want to blame her for how I feel. But then what you have to be aware, again, thinking about thinking, right? So you need to be aware that that is okay, that we're going to assign blame, and that is fine. But it's actually not true. There's something is happening here, like a situation which makes us think that wants us to see the most complicated world in a very simple form.
Because I actually have been, because I also journal, and every once in a while, you know, when you journal questions, I'm like, oh, why is it that I do that?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know it's just to simplify stuff. I've always thought, I even asked my mom and dad this question actually.
Oh, yes.
I was like, Mom, Dad, because my brother was there.
Yeah.
It's like, why do I always have to attribute blame when something bad happens? And then my mom and dad's like, what, you're trying to blame the parents? And I'm like, yes.
Someone needs to take the blame.
No, but I'm like, psych, you know, Freud. Freud, yeah. I mean, of course, like, well, how you grew up. And I was like, all the traumas that I have is because of like, I'm not blaming you, but it's good to understand why.
Yes.
But they keep thinking that I'm blaming them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does. It would feel like that. I do the same with like my parents as well. And yeah, my mom gets very defensive. Yeah, just like I did, because for them they did the best they could.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's normal. It's just part of the age that we're at, or like where we're at life, and how we reflect and everything. Also, that, you know, we're starting to question our conditioning, I guess, and trying to unlearn certain things.
That's it. I'm trying to figure out how to not be fucked up. Yeah, essentially.
To be a little less fucked up than I was yesterday.
Exactly. And so hopefully the next generation is even less fucked up.
Yes.
Okay, so we talk about communication. That's one bit. And I actually think I learned a lot. I don't know if you took anything from my
No, definitely.
We did. Yeah.
What's the second thing? If I was to say there's three things.
Second thing would be building trust. And
it's like you're reading it off a list.
Guys, trust is very important.
Yeah,
Long
actually,
or
that's
short
true.
distance relationships. Yeah,
especially long.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I would tie it back to communication, but just going a bit more into like trust. I feel like it takes a lot of forgiveness. You need to practice patience and forgiveness, which was two things I never had. I'm very short on. I don't forgive easily, and I have very, like, if you like fuck up once, you're gone. I'm not trusting you again. Right. Yeah. And but that was something I think I relearned, because when the time came for us to like, he would do something and it broke my trust, and I would tell him like, I can't trust you to do this anymore because I'm going to keep questioning you all the time. You've broken my trust, like, or I feel insecure about his things, about his actions and everything. And it's a good, when we do our reflections and stuff, it boils down to the question of, all right, the trust has been broken. I feel insecure. He feels insecure. His trust has been broken. Where do you want to go from here? What do you want to do? Like, do you want to mend? Because trust can be mended. I
It's
think-
consistency, I would say.
Yeah.
Because like whether you show up for like
Mm.
you're saying something that yes, I will change or I will do this differently, but yet your actions don't
Match it.
matches it.
Yeah.
So that consistency what builds trust over time. Yeah. Like you wouldn't expect like, okay, I said that, okay, I'm not gonna do it anymore, you know. Then 1 week later I did it again.
Yeah.
So then you are not giving the trust that she wants, right? So because you're clearly communicating what we want and what is not to be done, and therefore you need to put in the work in order for you to like show that in your actions, not just your words, that you actually mean it.
Because you know how, like, you're right. Because, like, when, let's just say, when your trust is broken at one point, it's that first few
Weeks,
tests
months. Yes. Yes.
that you need to see. Because, like,
Yeah.
I know that when in the past something similar happened, like, I would question things, right? And so I found that one of the responses I got from an ex was like, "What, you don't trust me? Like, I already said I'm not going to do it." I was like, "Yeah, but I need more assurance." You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
like what is it that help at least mend the first couple of like tests before you're like, okay, I feel comfortable. I'm no longer anxious or insecure again.
The assurance is basically consistency and time, because it's not going to happen like immediately. It will probably take few months depending on people, right?
Yeah.
So for them to like trust someone again, it'll take like months to years, I
Yeah.
would say. But
I-
depend.
For me, it was like I think I told him, because when we were having like these trust issues and everything, I said like, I'm going to be very like edgy. I'm going to maybe say like very mean things. Don't take it to heart. I'm just, I still don't trust you. Like, because I don't want to say I don't trust you, because it's a very hurtful thing to say to someone that's so close, right? But then I feel like if I don't tell you that, you won't know how severe it is.
Yeah.
So I need to tell you. And it came to a point like I almost reminded him of it. I don't trust you. Like, so the moment he says something, I don't trust you're going to do this. Which is a double-edged sword, because you could just like, if you keep saying it, he's going to eventually think like, oh, she's just not going to trust me. You know, like, why should I even put in the effort, right?
Yeah.
But I think it was like he was also patient. So this is what like, you know, being patient and being forgiving. And I told him like, you're just gonna have to put up with this for a couple for a while, because you've done this and I need time.
Yeah.
And when the same happened to me as well, I wasn't as accommodating as him. I'd admit that. I was like, no, this is too long. Get your shit together. But he was, because he's more of like the calmer one in the relationship. He would always like I feel like he always put things in perspective. Like, you know, like how you asked for that time when I broke your trust, like, can you give me like 5
Assurance.
days?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
just
yeah.
a little bit. Or
Yeah.
like, you know, assure me like, can we do this instead? Like, I would like to spend time. Like, it's more in the details. So it's the small things that we don't say.
Yeah.
You know, like,
It's
say
not
for
the things that we
example-
say actually.
Yeah.
Things we say doesn't matter at all.
That's probably fair, because like, yeah, like, I think like the ex of mine was like really angry that I had to always ask for it. He's like, how long do I have to assure you? I'm like, until I'm assured.
Yes. And
Right?
actually just like even saying that, like, I don't know how long this is going to take, but
Yeah.
until I'm assured, can you
Yeah.
do that or not?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because
So-
obviously he
And
couldn't.
imagine if you said that I'm gonna be there until you trust me.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
gonna be a different
Yes.
perspective altogether.
Yeah, that would have changed
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
What about the third one? What's the third thing on your list?
So I think it's maintaining independence and personal growth. Yeah.
Definitely reading off a list here.
We were prepared. Sometimes we get
Yeah.
prepared.
Yes. It's the Asian in us. We need to be prepared.
Yeah. Can you give us an A+? Rate us 5
Yes.
stars. Thank you.
Yeah, so maintaining independence and personal growth. I think what I've come to realize is that in a relationship, then if you are growing, meaning to say, you have to feel like each and every day there's something new you're learning about yourself and about your partner. It's just that not just in terms of your in terms of each other, but in terms of like your work or like encouraging you to do certain things. So that encouragement, that support that you get from your partner in order for you to grow, I think keeps you much more engaged
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like if let's imagine like a thought experiment. Like there's two couples, they are just like lovey-dovey, but there's no growth. Like they meaning to say they're not like focusing on each other's growth. Day in and
Focusing
day
on
out.
themselves, or they're not growing at all.
Yeah, they're
kind of
not.
thing?
I mean, you're just being like, I'm just giving an extreme example, right?
Yeah.
You're just focusing on like love, and you're like not caring about whether the person grows or not, like or
In
yourself.
other aspects of their lives.
Yeah, you're not taking interest in like, oh, are you doing much better than yesterday, or like what are the things that we can do in order for us to like be better of ourselves and others, and compared to another one, couples who are like focusing on like each other, like, oh, why not you try this out? Like perhaps this will work for you to achieve your goals. Perhaps not. Then you're like so curious, and you'll go and find out like, oh, what are the other things she can do in order for you to like. For example, she likes acting. So
yes, Sonia's an actor. If anyone wants
Yeah.
someone who's also a dancer, actor, you know,
Exactly.
her Insta will be linked in the bio. Anyway,
Yeah.
continue.
Thanks, Mel.
and I love reading. So I like I started just recently got into reading, and I would suggest books like, oh, perhaps you can look into these acting books where you could like learn some one or two things to use in it. So you're thinking about like how you can help them to grow as well.
So I think there's a fine balance though. Like you don't want to be the one pushing.
Oh
for
yes,
right?
yes, that happens.
But also on the flip side,
Yeah.
I'm talking about my partner here in a really light manner, but like you also don't want to push them when they don't want to. Like for example,
Definitely.
like my partner doesn't want his wardrobe updated, but I'm like, what about something that you don't have? And he's like, no. I was like, but you know. So there's that fine balance. So how do you not how do you find that balance, but how do you navigate that? Like when is it okay to encourage? When is it okay not to encourage? And is it okay if they don't want to grow? You know what I mean? All that question.
I think it's more of like you're ready to give what they need
Okay.
when they need it.
Yep.
So if they don't need it, and if you're pushing on it, it become a bit more toxic, I would say,
Yeah.
because it's like you're putting an expectation on them.
And you like what? You don't like them for who they are, kind of thing.
Exactly.
You know?
It's more of like if you're open, like you see, this is what I've learned, for example, and I would like to share with you. But it's up to you whether you want to get it or not. Like it's completely like, but you're giving perspectives basically.
Yeah.
Like offering options
Yeah.
is like, yeah, I think like the way he goes about it is like, these are the options I found. Would you be keen in trying any one of them? You know, then I'd be like, sometimes I'm like extra sensitive as well, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, what, you think I'm not doing my own research?
Yeah,
I don't know this?
actually, no. That's what I was
Yeah,
like.
I mean, really, like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that. It's
Yeah,
more-
yeah.
Oh, you're
But
like, are
that
you trying to
happens.
mansplain me?
Yes.
Exactly.
Or like, are you trying to? Yeah. That.
And that happens quite often because of course that is a balance. It's not, we are not perfect in doing that, but it gets you excited. Like, oh wow, like yeah, and you're believing in them basically that they could be someone much better than who they are right now.
Pro
And-
tip, he apologizes as well really quickly. So that kind of, because the moment he apologizes, I feel bad as well. Like, oh, was I too reactive?
Yeah.
You know, like, was this my ego? Like, was he like, you know, sometimes a goodwill gesture can be taken like wrongly. Like, yeah. So I was like, so when he apologizes, I take some time to think. Then I'll ask him, like, did you do this because you thought like I wasn't doing enough? And he was like, no. I just found this and I thought of you.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I'm like, oh, okay.
It's interesting you say that because like I also get defensive. I like if so if my partner does that,
Yeah.
maybe I won't be as defensive. But you know who I get most defensive about when they provide suggestions like this?
Yes.
My brother.
I was about to say.
Yeah, that's like, you know, like your family member. They're like, oh, do you have this? Wow, you think I haven't done it? You think I haven't thought about it? That's when you said all that. I was like, oh, I think that's, and then I don't think I apologize quick enough sometimes because it depends. Depends on your dynamic, right? So my
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah,
family
yeah.
dynamic. Because then I always think sometimes it's a bit arrogant. Sorry, bro. So I'm like, I can't give in.
Yeah. No, I get you.
But yeah, I think what you're saying is true though. Like It is the ego speaking, and they probably don't think you're not doing what you think what you should be doing. But
Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
You need to fact check that.
Yeah.
bro, you're not out of the woods.
Yeah, exactly. Not yet.
No,
Let
that
me ask you
happens.
two more
I mean,
questions.
I completely like.
But sometimes they don't realize that they're looking
Yeah.
down.
yeah.
Because it's like, so, you know, it's all like muddled up in there. And
Yeah,
it's not,
yeah.
everyone's like, we're not fully self-aware. We're still, it's a process. It takes time. Only
we are humans, like we're not like
Yeah.
So sometimes
Programs
he
to be fair.
doesn't realize that
Yeah.
he's being condescending or he's like looking down, or like until like I asked a few more questions, he's like, oh wait, yeah, maybe. Okay. Don't listen to what I say, like take this back or something like that. And I'll be like, go check yourself. Do your journal.
They're like due diligence, bitch.
Yeah.
That's
because
interesting.
because I think you have to trust your emotions, like how you feel, because at the end of the day, how you feel is most probably correct. For example,
Yeah.
how she felt when I'm being condescending. Probably I was actually being condescending.
I was right, yo.
Yeah, because when you look at it back, when you reflect on yourself, how were you feeling during that time?
Yeah.
It actually tells you, oh yes, I was actually being like that. I was like, oh damn, because you can clearly differentiate when you are being like helpful and you have this thought, she's not doing enough. Maybe she has to do this, you know.
She doesn't know this. Like I need to like do this. I'm like, sir, take your seat.
Yeah. You know what I learned a lot about the two of your like relationship dynamics? I think there's a lot that I've taken away. I think the biggest part for me is probably like in your three dot points. One, understanding the person's thinking, but that requires so much more like communication and maybe a little bit of self-awareness, because you need to tell your partner
Yeah.
like how you're thinking so that they actually understand. The second bit that I find it really interesting, which might not work for everyone, the fact that you send each other your journals, because it's another way of like communicating your
Yes.
thinking
Yeah.
process without actually speaking about
Yeah.
it. And it helps if you're not the type of person that can verbalize.
Yes.
But it's in my head, I was just thinking, what if you're not the type to write either? Like, how else? Like, it's a question, not for you, like not for us to answer.
Whatever
today.
medium, I think everyone has like a medium or like an expression that they're good at, right? Like for some people, like some of my friends, like they're not really good with expressing their emotions, but they'll send like songs every now and then, like this is how
like
I
memes,
feel.
is that it? Or reels? No, because that's
Yeah. Oh, some of my friends do
Reels,
send reels
yeah,
every time, and
yeah.
so based on that, I'm like, baby girl, are you okay? Like, are you feeling down? Like, do you want to talk? She's like, no, I'm just like very grateful to have you, blah, blah, blah. Or like, yeah, you know, like then just based off on that. And it's always, I think, more to do like with questions. People respond to questions really well. So it's how you phrase the questions. If you're coming from a point of like, I don't know how you feel. Tell me. I want to know. That opens, there's something about that question, you know, like that opens up like, oh, she's curious to know about me. Like she's not coming from like, oh, how do you feel? Like, you know, like I'm going to judge you like based on your answer. And then so I think if you come from that point, it just disarms them a little bit, I guess, to like help understand. You won't get to the core, but you know, just to at least manage emotions that can, you know, affect communication.
And yeah, so there is a little bit of that like curiosity and self-affection, I think.
Yeah.
Works. I feel like, and what I'm also hearing a lot is like, it's okay to fuck up as long as you like say sorry or like actually realize where it like what happened and what went wrong.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I might have a rethink about my own dynamic. No, this is really cool. Actually, not that I didn't think that I was going to learn a lot, but I learned a lot.
Yay! We're glad.
That
We've agreed to each other that we do poke each other's egos a lot, and I think we've done it enough that we kind of understand. Because like he has a way of reacting when I poke his ego, or like I ask certain questions that are very like, very sharp, you know. And he's like, and he like will react, and I'm like, I pinched a nerve. Yeah. And when he does the same thing, I react in a certain way. He'll be like, okay, you back off because you've made something bitter, sour. You know, you're thinking now, so you back off a little bit and then give it some time. And I think the good thing about the plus point, I guess, is that because we journal and like we share, you know, bits and pieces, it comes out there. Like, yeah, I felt hurt when she said this. I don't think she's completely right, but this part, yes. You know?
I wonder if that's a really interesting activity to do with your partners or your friends, your family, whenever there is a fight. Like, hey, in the time that you're like, you need time apart, you're like, oh, if I need 30 minutes, like, can we write out our feelings and our thinking as a fight resolving mechanism?
We are aggressively nodding, everyone.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they were like, yes, this is it. Because I don't know if I've seen or hear many people do that, and
in the ideal world, that would be perfect. I would love that if everyone just wrote down how
like,
you
you know,
felt.
like,
Don't be afraid.
like Trump and Putin, just like shit. Maybe not Trump. Maybe Trump and Justin Trudeau. I don't know, like other world leaders. Putin and the Ukrainian leader.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yes. No, but I think that's a really great takeaway.
But that's good though. Like writing actually gives you clarity of what you're thinking, because when you're thinking, it can be all over the place. But when you start writing, even if your grammar is not good, like it doesn't
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
It's
matter.
just
It helps
Yeah.
organize your
Yeah.
thoughts.
it helps you organize your thoughts. Like, because when I started 2 years back journaling, of course I never liked writing, and then I felt like it was actually very helpful for me to organize my thoughts.
Well, okay, we'll wrap up today's episode. Thank you so much, Vik and Sonia.
Thank you for having us.
I actually think I learned a lot. Just like I think I learned a lot, and I'm just thinking in my thinking juice right now as I'm like trying to wrap this up.
Yeah.
You can tell, like my head is like, wow. But yes, well, thank you for jumping on board, and who knows, maybe there'll be another episode. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thanks all. Bye.